This is Lewis Hart for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store, Forged Irish Stout, freebets.com. Delighted to be joined with Spencer Oliver. We're at the Duffy Boxing Academy, your new venture that you're going into. New gym here in Stratford. Exciting times for you, mate. You must be buzzing.
Absolutely, yeah. The Duffy Boxing Elite Training Centre, yeah, we're here in Stratford, only a stone throw away from the Copper Box, the Olympic Park. You know, I think this is an area with high knife crime, gun crime, you know what I'm saying? And I think the idea is to give a little something to the community, you know, and go like, listen, if we can get them kids off the streets into the boxing gyms, whether they want to become a boxer or not become a boxer, they learn those life skills and the disciplines that's needed and gives them that focused direction in life. And you never know, mate, we might find the next Anthony Joshua like the one we found when he walked into Finchley ABC, coming from a similar sort of background.
I was going to say, boxing has given you so much in your life, and you think how much it's done for you. To give back, I was speaking to Johnny about it. How nice do you think that is a feeling on a personal level?
Oh, it's huge, mate. It's a real proud moment for me opening up this gym with Johnny, Kieran Duffy, Chris Kenning, the guy that's backing us in this as well. You know, to open it up and go on this journey and hopefully open more up and down the country is like, yeah, it's lovely because I recognise what it does and the lives that it can change. You know, like I used Anthony Joshua as an example because he had Nasbo against him in Watford. He couldn't go out in Watford. He was booked down to Finchley ABC by his cousin Ben Alimi. He didn't want to box. He didn't even want to go to the boxing gym. He come in there and fell in love with it. Fast forward like 12 years, he was Olympic champion, world silver medalist, two-time world heavyweight champion, got a bundle of money in the bank, and he transformed his life and inspired millions of people. That's what I love about boxing. That's what boxing does.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about Anthony Joshua. He is the man on everyone's lips at the moment after that Ngannou knockout. I suppose it's been about 2 weeks or so since that knockout, and still think that, you know, he's got exciting times for AJ in the heavyweight division.
Absolutely, it's all about activity. You know, inactivity was playing a part in Anthony Joshua's performances. That lack of belief in his own ability, that's what was lacking because of the inactivity. Now there's activity there. You're seeing the marked improvements in every one. And all right, you can talk people will now say, oh, Ngannou though, yeah, but he's, you know, he only had one fight and lost it anyway. You go, yeah, but he pushed the WBC champ to the wire. Many people felt he beat him. He had him on his pants. Joshua iced him, dealt with him, went in there and done what a boxer should do to an MMA fighter. He went out there, calculated performance, and it was chilling finish. It was wicked, mate, and it was great to see that because now you go, Anthony Joshua against any heavyweight in the world, including Tyson Fury, is him and Tyson Fury is a 50-50 fight right now. Anthony Joshua, yeah, for me, look, I always back Joshua anyway. I'm just glad that he's back to his best, and now people are starting to believe again because people writ him off and thought he was finished.
I was going to say there, what do you think Tyson Fury versus AJ is a 50-50?
Because of the performance that Fury put in against Ngannou.
Is that a fair measuring stick though, do you think?
Well, you can only go by your last performance. What I'm saying is you go, not just there, you look at Fury's performances now, he's had to adapt his style, he holds his feet more, and that gives Joshua an opportunity. If you go back to the Fury that beat Klitschko back in 2015, he was light on his feet, he was mobile. That Fury, and it's difficult for anyone to beat. He was too slippery, his boxing IQ, too good. Now, yes, he's got a great boxing IQ, he feints, and he's looking in great shape, by the way, right now, but he holds his feet more. Anyone that holds their feet as a heavyweight, it gives Joshua a chance. And as you know, Joshua's got that power, one shot can turn it around, and that's why I say it makes it a 50-50 fight, because Fury's had to adapt his style, whether that's because he's getting old, the legs are not as good as what they once were, whether he was carrying too much weight, the performance against Ngannou, you put all those into it and you go, well, is he at that stage of his career? He's been around a long time, he's been a great champion, but that's what I say, like, you know, going into this fight he does look in phenomenal shape, but yeah, that's why I make it a 50-50 fight for them reasons. Joshua, you know, has reinstalled that confidence that he needed. Fury hasn't looked great in recent times.
And you talk about AJ now, with this sort of resurgence, and how much can you feel like Ben Davies can attribute to AJ on a mental front? You know, maybe, you know, you can't teach an old dog new tricks when it comes to physical abilities, but on his mental front with AJ, how much has that been a benefit to Anthony Joshua?
Listen, he's reinstalled the confidence that Anthony Joshua needed. That's the only missing thing. He's got all the attributes, you know what I mean? He's got all the physicality, he's got everything in the locker, but he never had the confidence. If you've got no self-belief going into a boxing ring, you're not stepping in with your shots, you're holding your feet, that leaves you open for counter punches. You know, the AJ we're seeing now, he's stepping in, he's putting the shots together in threes and fours, then he's going again. That is important, that makes it totally different, man. It's like having that confidence makes things totally different.
Listen to your podcast this morning with Simon Jordan, Talk Boxing. Give it a shout out.
Nice.
You were saying, Simon was saying about we don't really know how AJ can be until there is a step up. But you were sort of disagreeing with him. Like, do you think that there is a lot that we can take from now? Or we'll see it when he fights, a world level caliber fighter.
Yeah, what are you talking about? Like, what is that level? You know what I mean? You go, Jermaine Franklin, admittedly, weren't a great performance. Robert Helenius, all right, well, maybe not the best opponent, but we didn't really see anything for AJ for 6 rounds. Then we see for the first time he stepped in, let the right hand go. That installed, that show real knockout installed the confidence that AJ needed. Then you fast forward, and who was next after that? We had
Franklin and
then Then you had Otto Wallin. That was a box. That was a potential banana skin. Otto Wallin. He went in there and he dealt with him. He put the shots together. The Anthony Joshua of old was back, and that was like. And then we go Ngannou. Wow, no! Imagine this. Ngannou pushes Fury like that, beats Anthony Joshua. What he done, Anthony Joshua, was restore faith in boxing by dealing with Ngannou the way that he dealt with him, because that's what a boxer should do to an MMA fighter in a boxing ring. Credit where credit's due, man. You got to respect that. That Anthony Joshua and that performance, forget the opponent, goes with any heavyweight right now.
I was going to say, if it isn't Fury or maybe even a Usyk trilogy that could be on the cards, is there any other sort of fights that you potentially would like for him?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that I'd like to see him in with Daniel Dubois, Filip Hrgovic, them sort of people you're talking about. Like Hrgovic would be a great fight. That's what I'd like to see. There's loads of fights out there for him. Like you could see, we've got Joe Joyce. You could see Dillian Whyte again. Dillian Whyte's just come back from that win. That's good to see him, put all those troubles behind him. Done with it, dealt with that the right way, by the way. Went underground, dealt with it the way it should be dealt with. Didn't go public on it all, and proved his innocence. Great. Well, that's all we need. Well done, Dillian. You're back. Good seeing the ring. Shame that Christian Hammer never come to fight. Quit on his stall, and Dillian was right in calling him a coward. He turned up there. Dillian Whyte wanted to get the rounds under his belt. Looked sharp at times. Unfortunately for him, Hammer never come to fight and quit on his stall. So yeah, that's not good, man.
Absolutely. I did want to move on to other topics. Obviously, Ryan Garcia is another person that is in the news a lot. A lot being said by his mental state, and he's been very open about that. He's been very open about sort of, him drinking, him sort of smoking. He said, this is life as a boxer. Sometimes it isn't always your way when you get thrown into public eye early on. Aside from all the other antics, aside from all the other behaviour he can, is it sometimes good to have someone, a boxer as well, being open about sort of mental health struggles that they've had? Yeah,
I think it is. Yeah, of course it's good, but that kid should not be fighting. I think that it's been that erratic behaviour we're seeing on Twitter, on Instagram. The breakdowns that he's sort of having, the behaviour, the smoking, the drinking. He's mentally not fit to fight. Could you imagine? God forbid he went in the ring with Devin Haney, something dreadful happened. That would put boxing into disrepute. You go, how can you let a kid that's mentally not stable fight? And I wish him all the best, Ryan Garcia. I think he's been great for the sport. I thought he's brought a whole new fan base into the sport. He's got a huge social media presence, and so he's transformed a lot of those fans into boxing. And I just wish him all the best, but he should not be fighting on December 20th because he's not mentally in that space. And I felt sorry for him at times, when you see him speaking to God and what God's done for him and life struggles and whatnot. You just want to see the kid get a cuddle, someone put their arm around him like he needs help, and someone should be there saying to him, listen, I know it's been put to the New York Athletic Commission, I believe, that they're talking about maybe pulling him from the fight. Shakur Stevenson willing to jump in. What a great fight that would be. But yeah, come on, man, let's get this kid right because he deserves to be looked after.
And for yourself, when you look at mental health in boxing, it's something that doesn't always maybe get the shine that it does. Is there a lot that you can relate to, I suppose, on a personal level for yourself, when the way that you left the professional boxing ranks is something that you would have ideally wanted to happen, and dealing with that on a mental side, is there sort of more awareness that needs to be done with boxing, and especially if those leaving the game as well?
Yeah, absolutely. There's no support for boxers when they retire, and you know what? When a boxer retires, he loses his identity. When a boxer loses his identity and he's got to focus and try and find another walk in life, that's not easy to do. When a boxer becomes a normal civilian, he goes, well, I've boxed since I was a kid. I wake up, I go running, I then go home, I go training, eat, sleep, repeat. Do you know what I mean? And that's basically what it is. So yeah, a boxer finds it very, very difficult after boxing. Kell Brooks, one that comes to mind. Kell Brooks, one that struggles with that sort of stuff. And the mental health issues kick in. It's not about the money that you got in the bank. It's about finding some sort of focus in life. Boxers should have that because it's a lonely sport.
And if you don't mind me asking, on a personal level for yourself, how much of a struggle do you feel like that was for yourself when you left?
Massive, mate. You don't even realise, man. My mental health wasn't a thing back in 1998 when I had my injury, my accident. You know what I mean? I wake up in a hospital bed to be told my career's over. I've got to learn to walk again, talk again. You know what I mean? Do them sort of things. I'm going into, you know, I'm number 2 in the WBC rankings. I'm European champion. You're talking about world title fights that year. I'm going in to do that, to wake up to, you know, having to learn to walk again. It's all again. You go, fuck, that was something to come overcome, mate. But then when I come out of hospital, everyone's going, wow, you know, like, look at the recovery you've made. Like, you've made a full recovery, this and that. You go, yeah, but the outside looks great, but inside's fucked. Mental health wasn't a thing then. So, like, the first 3 or 4 years for me was a difficult ride, mate. You would not believe, man. I couldn't even tell you some of the fucking stories. But it was, it weren't good. It weren't fun. It was, Lee, it was a lonely time.
Absolutely, I do appreciate the response, Spencer. A last one from myself. I did want to ask you about the recent. I know we spoke about it in January when there was a first one that came out, but obviously there's a third one that's came out with a boxer and a box article about the times to do with Ben Shalom, and I suppose payments to unknown third parties. Concerning to sort of see these things again, and an ongoing investigation that seems to be becoming sort of more and more concerning.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I can't really comment on it because I don't know nothing about it. So, like, and I'm not, and that's not a lie. You know, people go, well, you work for boxers, you do know. Why would I know about that side of things? So yeah, I've not had that conversation with Ben. I've not spoken to Ben about that since that's come out, so difficult for me to comment on. Do you know what I mean? It's a difficult one because you don't know what it is.
Absolutely, Spencer. Thank you for taking time to speak to me. Always appreciate it. As always. I was going to say, mate, it has been.
Man, I'm freezing out. Here we got free champagne in there. What's the matter with you?
I'm sorry, mate. It's good. We haven't caught up in a while, man. So it's good to speak to you, mate. In the Duffy Boxing Academy, mate. Top man.
Make sure you guys get onto DuffyBox.com, check it out, or we can go on Instagram as well, which is Duffy Boxing Training Centre. I think that's what it is on Instagram. Come and give us a follow as well. But there, check this little bad boy out, and we're here, 6 Tandy Road, stone throw away from the Copper Box. Get yourselves down there.
And the Olympic Park as well. Top man.
Right there.
Top man, mate. Thank you. Cheers.